Okay, welcome back. We're going to run through a quick example of combat, and then probably from there on, I will just go ahead and do turn-by-turn summaries. That'll make this game go faster, make these videos go faster, and then we can move on to other games. So, what we have right now is we have the Union combat phase. At the moment, this is round one, so at the moment we have this Union unit attacking this artillery and infantry unit, and then we have this Union unit attacking this Confederate infantry unit. However, the first thing we start with is defensive artillery fire at any adjacent attacking unit. In this case, this artillery unit will attack this Union unit. I wish I knew their names, but anyway, it's part of Confederates are part of Ewell's division or whatever. So, and over here there is no artillery that's adjacent. None of the other artillery units can fire during this defensive fire for the Confederates. So, what we're going to do is we'll find quickly the artillery rules real quick. They're pretty simple. Basically, you're just going to add up the fire value. You're going to look at the artillery fire table. You're going to roll a die and modify it as needed, and the results will be the number of steps that the target loses. And then we'll see what else happens. So, at the moment, the artillery fire table, which I'll try to show you these at a later time maybe, the Confederates have a strength of 3. Let me see here real quick. The only modifiers that I see is the range, 1 hex, it's a +2 to the die roll, and the artillery fire die roll modifiers over here are -2 if the target is infantry. So it looks like they cancel each other out. So the Confederates are going to fire their artillery at the Union First Corps unit there, 6th Brigade or whatever it is. Okay, they roll a 3. 3 under a strength of 3 is no effect. So, even at point blank range, there's a pretty good chance of nothing happening unless you have a lot more artillery. So, the attacks are going to go in as stated. So, we're going to do, looks like it's going to be 5 to 5. Let me double check my combat rules here real quick. I know, you think after a couple of days I'd have this all down. Anyway, you indicate the enemy hex in the artillery, that is blah blah blah, that would be the defensive fire. Both players determine the unit's combat value for this combat, compute the ratio or the difference. Like I said, if it's just, unless you have 2-to-1 odds or more, you'll use a differential table. Then the attacker will roll a one-sided die at any applicable modifiers. Cross-reference that with the column to determine the combat results. Now, there are some benefits for encircling the defender. There are some other things if the artillery is alone in a hex. And then we also take into account morale. And the Confederates, they always get a +1 versus infantry with infantry attacks due to their elan and superior coordination. And then there's some terrain benefits, none of which apply at this time. Like I said, the Confederate bonus only applies if they attack. Let's see, combat modifiers. Okay. So it looks like Let's see the defender being encircled. Defender, blah. The difference between the attacker and defender morale. If the attacker's morale is greater of the two numbers, and we have the same with the defender's morale. Now what does this say? All Confederate attacks is a +2 on the chart, but in the body of the rules, it gives them a +1. Well, +1 is good enough. I'm not going to give the Confederates a +2. No slope, no terrain, nothing. So we're going to compare the morale value of the two units. We're going to resolve this one first. The Union has a 0 morale, while the Confederate has a +1 morale. So if the defender's morale is higher, there'll be a minus, let me think. Yeah, -1. Yes, that's easy enough. So from what I can tell, we have a -1 to the die roll. So, and we have 5 to 5, so that's going to be a 0 differential. And I'm going to roll 1 6-sided die, it looks like. This surely becomes easier as you go along. The die roll is a 1. On the 0 column, that's going to be 2 step losses for the Union and 1 step loss for the Confederates. And let's see, Confederate step loss, I don't think infantry has any effect on that. We're going to flip this unit over to its 4 strength side. In addition, its movement allowance drops to an 8. The Union side, let me find a counter here, number 11, is going to take we're going to flip it over to its back side, indicating a 1 strength point loss, and then we're going to remove it carefully, and we're going to replace it with a number 4. So it had, is that right? 5 goes down to 4, goes down to 3. We'll figure this out eventually. 5, 4, should go down to 3. Ah, yes, the wonders of math. So it goes down to 3 strength points. Okay, that's one combat, and then we have the other one to do here. Looks like we have 5 to 3. That's not 2 to 1, so that's going to be a differential of +2. Once again, the only modifiers I see would be morale, and they look like they're both the same, so there'll be no adjustment of the die roll. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the die and see what the result is. I don't see anything else that would apply to it. Morales are the same. There's no encirclement. Confederates not attacking. We roll a 6. A 6 on the +2. That's going to be a little better. It looks like a 1, 2. So it looks like the Union unit will take 1 step loss. What do you go to? From a 5 to a 5. Well, nothing really changes except his movement rate. Odd. The other 10, let me see what the other counter says. Well, this says a 4, 6. I'm not quite sure why this is the same on both sides. But it is, so I guess it can weather the attack better. And then the Confederate, number 9, I'm sorry, is going to take 2 step losses. Okay, the 3rd Ewell, I don't know, brigade I guess it is, took 2 hits, so it's going to flip over to its number 2 side, and then it's going to be removed, and we're going to replace it with the last step. Basically started with 3, lost 2, therefore it has 1 left. and if it takes another hit, it'll be eliminated completely from the board. There is a chance for certain units to regroup lost strength points. However, you can never regroup uh, up to your original strength. You will always be down one strength point regardless. Um, the unit will just never be fresh again. So anyway, that's a brief example of combat. Let me check on retreat real quick. Does either side retreat or advance? When to retreat? Units may be retreated for breaking off combat. Or, so you can voluntarily break off combat at the end of the round 1 or round 2. Or, let's see, and then if the hex is empty or vacant, you can advance. You must advance. So, anyway, you must go back 3 hexes if you decide to retreat. I think I would retreat the unit only because I can bring up another unit, whatever his name is. The DH unit could come up and help fill that gap. And I don't know if the Union would want to. Yeah, probably. Why not? So we're going to go ahead and voluntarily retreat, and that'll end round 1 and possibly round 2. So this unit's going to go back 1. Probably going to be off map here. Sorry. See if I can back it up without creating a huge disaster. Yeah, we'll see. 1, 2, 3. Probably off map. Can't see it. And this Union unit will move 1 hex forward. Okay, so we would have the chance to have a second round of combat. More than likely, I would probably go ahead and try to attack those units, whatever. I don't think artillery can fire again defensively. I think you can only do it each combat phase, not each combat round. But anyway, that should give you a basic idea of how combat works. It's probably not the best example, but it's the best I can do at the moment. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play out the rest of turn 1 and kind of show you where we're at, and then I'll continue to do a turn-by-turn summary in less detail. So anyway, I shall return. Thanks.